You know, Mike and I have a lot of similarities. We both lost our mothers at the age of 16.
Mm-hmm.
We both got locked up.
You been to Spofford when you were a kid?
What's that?
You ever been to Spofford in the Bronx when you were a kid?
Where's that?
Spofford Avenue.
You know, man, it's been
A juvenile lockup?
No. I was good as a juvie. That was my shit. I was good as a juvie because you and I had something else in common. We got saved by an Italian man.
Yeah.
Okay, when I moved to New Jersey, the neighborhood man was Carmine Balzano, God rest his soul. And he took me into his house, even though I was Cuban. He had 4 other sons. And one of the sons died, and I kind of replaced him. So whatever the sons got, I got. That gives you a different type of feeling. It was the 70s. Ain't no spick or no black dude gonna walk into an Italian's house. But they didn't look at it like that. We got saved by somebody Italian. We have so many similarities. You know, you're from Brownsville. In my early years,
Well, my mentor is from the Bronx. He's from Arthur Avenue.
Yeah, Arthur Avenue is still fucking kicking and shit.
Yeah, he's from
representing Italian food like a motherfucker still. The last American slice is in Arthur Avenue now. Everybody knows that in this country, but
it's always been an Italian name from the beginning, 100 years ago.
It's the best.
It's just a pleasure to be with somebody who understands. You know, Mike Tyson was the king of New York. You know how hard that is to be the king of New York? Walk the walk, talk the talk, the king of New York.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you.
He got dethroned by Tony Soprano. You know what I'm saying? It just happened.
Listen, I met him once, too.
Yeah.
I met him once.
Yeah?
Yeah, I met Tony.
James?
What was it, Garfield?
James Gandolfini?
Yeah, Garfield. I met him once.
How was he?
He was a very decent man.
That's
very nice man.
Rest in peace.
I won the award, and then he said, when was that movie out? When did that movie? He didn't even see The Hangover. I didn't even know it was out. He said, when was that movie out?
That's so funny. That's classic actor. Just so deep in your art.
Yeah, that was just, listen, he left us all too soon.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
They all do. They all do. You know, we don't get to say goodbye or something. You always feel bad, you know.
Yeah.
But back to Mike. No, I've been a fan since day one. The first time I saw you throw up. In fact, I got to talk to you about something. You owe me $250 from July of '87 because I bought an 8-ball and I was working this chick. You were fighting Spinks in Atlantic City. Yeah. And I was working, and I had 15 rounds to work her, but you knocked the motherfucker out in 58 seconds.
He had to go, man.
And her little girlfriends took her back, and there I am with this 8-ball and a hard dick.
Oh,
like, you know what I'm saying?
How do you get a hard dick with 8-ball right now?
Oh, yeah.
Dog, you're 28, you can get it hard still.
God
Do
damn.
it right now and try to get it hard.
It's not going to work.
You need a motherfucking snake charmer.
It's not going to work, man. God, I always wanted to know that secret, man. How do you get it hard when you get high?
How do you get your dick hard on coke?
In the 80s, you could get your dick hard on coke. Then they started putting hairspray in it. I always
had Viagra's and all that stuff.
To counteract?
Yeah, to counteract.
Oh, my God, I never did Viagra. I'm scared.
Fuck. Yeah, fuck.
But hey, I knocked my wife up at 50.
Yeah, you did.
So I'm good, yeah.
Fuck.
She was 42.
Working.
Yeah, 50.
That's amazing.
Smoking dope like a motherfucker. No other drugs. I knocked her up.
Amazing.
Can you believe that? God
I
works
knocked
in
my wife
mysterious
up at
ways.
32.
Yeah, man.
Did you?
She was 32, yeah.
Wow.
First child, 32.
My aunt had my cousin at 45. So it can happen.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Theo Von's father was 72. Wow. 72.
Whose father?
Theo Von. You got to get that motherfucker in here.
Oh,
he
yeah.
got stories, too.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's amazing. But Theo had him when he was 70. His father had him when he was 72.
God, man, a newborn.
A Spanish dude. That Spanish blood,
fucking,
that Spanish sperm, they'll knock you up in the fucking casket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get a Puerto Rican with good genes, you jerk them off in the casket, boom, you got twins. They don't fuck around. Tell him, Mike. Tell him, Mike.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
That's crazy. Dude, I couldn't imagine being 72 and having a newborn. I was 20. Man. I was 24 when we had our daughter, man. And I was fuck.
What a fucking trip to be an old man and knock my. When my wife came in, I was with her for 13 years, and she came in and she goes, "You knocked me up," and I was like, "Fuck!" Close the door. I had to think about it for a little while and shit. Now I'm very happy. You know, my wife's happy. So God works in mysterious ways, man.
No doubt, man.
You know, it's funny as with all the things we did, we were talking about juvie. Like, I mean, you were a badass motherfucking juvie.
Yeah, I was.
I was doing shit, but I was keeping it on the down low, and I knew too many people to get arrested. I became a felon after 17, and then I got busted at the age of 25. And I did 2 years. And I came out and I did a halfway house, and I was still doing my shit. And some dude in the prison, he was in there for murdering his wife and the mailman. This motherfucker caught a federal rap because he was a mailman, but he was the prison librarian, and he used to listen to me talk on one of the nights of the week. They did movie night in prison, and the projector would always break. And I worked in the kitchen, so I knew everybody. I worked in the kitchen. I was the stock clerk, so I had connections in there. I was giving the bodybuilders extra meat. I knew where the extra cheese was, and they would say, when the projector would break, they would go, Cuba, go up there and say some shit. The brothers would go, Cuba, get the fuck up there and say some shit. And I would go up there and goof on the brother. You know what I'm saying? Like I would.
You do a stand-up.
Because I would sit behind the prison line when they were feeding prisoners and check out everything, and they'd be feeding them the food. And whenever they gave you like shit on shingles, what's that shit? Shit beef on rice?
Yes.
Yeah.
That shit is net. Whenever they gave all that type of shit.
Oh, that's some disgusting watery gravy and the
I would
meat
stand in the back, and as the brothers walked in first, I would go, don't do it! And they knew not to eat the shit. So then we had little prison dudes. There was an Italian dude that would make nachos with a fucking iron, iron. He took the fucking guts out, and he would stick it in the bucket and put a piece of cheese in there at 8 in the morning. And by 6 o'clock, the cheese would melt. And he would cut jalapenos up. And there was a Mexican dude who made tacos. So I would tell him not to eat, and they thought it was kind of funny the way I said it.
Yeah.
So they would throw me up on this table, and I would just crack jokes on the prisoners. It was like 92 prisoners. It was a prison camp. And I didn't know I was doing stand-up, Mike. I had no fucking
That's
idea.
so awesome.
Stand-up.
And one day, the prison librarian was a nerdy dude, and I wasn't smoking dope in there because they were piss testing you. But him and I would do acid from time to time, and we would stay up all night, and the guards would go, what the fuck is wrong with you two? We'd be talking outside and shit.
So tell me this. Do you ever think about like where you're at now and what you've been through, your experience? You think about your friends that died, you never seen you succeeded?
Oh, my God, you just gave me fucking goosebumps.
I know we lost a lot of people before we got here.
When I
And
started,
they never saw us do this. They think we would die with them in the streets. But something happened. Now we're here.
when I started comedy in 91, I did good for the first 2 years, and I went back to New York City in 93. And a kid who took me and would drive me to the gigs was a dude that reminds me of you. His name was Darren Rago. This motherfucker was shooting steroids when we were 16.
Fuck.
He would go into clubs. I would tell him, take your shirt off and do push-ups. And he would just start doing push-ups at a disco without his shirt on in 82, 83. He was just crazy. And I left for a while. When I came back 10 years later, he was crazy. I'm like, you know how we get? This dude was working at the airports. One night I bumped into him 2 weeks before he died, and he told me, I go, what are you doing now? He goes, I'm a bodyguard for a Chinese dude. He goes, all I got to do is get him high. He goes, we do ketamine, we do this, we do that, we do this, but we never drink. He goes, but at the end, he goes, we never drink because that'll fuck up your liver. You know, but he used to pick me up. This guy was a gangster. Yeah. He would pick me up and drive me to comedy shows and watch me and encourage me. Like, you can't even fathom this. So
this is Darren.
Darren Rago. There's a picture of him on my wall. I have a picture of him on my ancestor shrine. I have an ancestor shrine. All the motherfuckers I lost along the way, from Anthony Balzano to Dominic Special to all the kids that I grew up with. My mother, my father, one of my teachers, the dude who took me out of New York, who took me to Boulder, Colorado, and showed me to get me out of New York when I owed $50,000. He died. I got all their pictures, and I put glasses of water. That's what you do when you're Cuban. And every Monday you light a candle, you fill the glasses, and you thank them for guiding you through this fucking life.
You know, I always say, do you ever say to yourself, why me? Why not the other guy that was smarter than me, had more money than me, were cooler than me, and everybody thought they were the guys, and they wanted to die and they're getting locked up for life? You say, how come me? I wasn't the guy out of the group that really was supposed to make it.
I ask myself that every fucking day. When I'm sitting there at 6 o'clock at night, and I'm eating dinner with my wife, and my little girl saying prayers, I sit there and I go, if these two knew the things I did, You know what I'm saying? Like I questioned for a long time, for about 2 years, until I shot the Netflix Degenerates. I went through a hard period in my life a couple of years ago because I couldn't accept what was going on. People coming up to me saying I changed their life. Bitch, I robbed a can of coins one time out of a Carvel. You know those fucking cans that say donate to blind kids?
The handicapped.
Yeah, donate to blind kids.
One time I went to Dimes.
Yeah, one time I went to Carvel and I took whatever was in there. It was $7, Mike. And here I am now at the Comedy Store every fucking night doing comedy with Joe Rogan and Whitney Cummings and D'Elia and fucking Jeff Ross. And I look at myself and I go, what the fuck?
Listen, coming from a place where we came from, what we did, we only internalize who we are, and we think that we're nothing because we don't think these guys did what we did. And it's in our mind. Like, say we know somebody that killed somebody, we seen somebody been killed or something, or we're the cause of it. You know what I mean? Somebody may have been picking on us or tried to abuse us, and we went to tell a friend, and our friend came back and killed them. That's just how it is in New York. And so we say to ourselves, we're not worthy of this because we're scumbags.
Every day of my life, I question how the fuck I got here.